What is the biggest act of passive aggressiveness you've ever witnessed or done? Personally, I asked my girlfriend at the time if she would mind if I hung out with my ex and some friends after school. A simple no would have sufficed. Instead she responded with, I don't mind. I guess I'll hang out with my friend Eric. We usually get drunk and make out. How is that passive? Too perfect lol. The best way to be passive aggressive to a trophy store is to order a worst trophy shop trophy and then never pick it up. I like John Steinbeck's idea of getting revenge on a bank by depositing a fresh salmon in your safe deposit box and going away on vacation. I used to write Wells Fargo is the devil on every single Google review to all of the Wells Fargo branches in my area. I just want to get it into people's head that Wells Fargo is the devil. A couple of years ago, 2012 or something, I was in high school attending a computer science class. The exercises were so outdated that they stated that we had to hand it in on a floppy disk. So I did. Where does one even find a floppy disk these days? I just found a box of them in my parents' computer cabinet. 2 millibars each. Edit. Regarding the size. I just read the box. I'm not hip like you tech savvy yuns. All I know is that we used to have a full case of them and one had a Mickey Mouse game on it that I miss a lot. Edit 2. Here's the box. Long time ago, in my first managerial position, I had a boss who got pissed off at me for somewhat ridiculous reasons. I was trying to plan out a potential project with one of my staff members and my boss overheard us. He assumed we were going to skip other work to get this request done. When, in fact, avoiding that was exactly why I was having the meeting. At any rate, he came in and absolutely dressed me down in front of my project guy. After shift change I went to his office and he told me he didn't want me to make any decisions without running them past him first. So, for the next week literally every decision I made I paid him first. Like, can Tom take his break half an hour early? Or could Sally have extra supplies? 1 week later he blew up at my co-supervisor at a staff meeting saying, seriously, you all need to be able to make some decisions yourselves. So, my passive-aggressive response worked just fine. Malicious compliance is so satisfying. r/malicious compliance is also a thing. Enjoy your PA boner. This story is old. I have copied it from a Tales from Retail post. Enjoy. I work in men's clothing sales. We also offer tailoring services. This gentleman comes in with a pair of pants. Man, your other location said that you would hem these for me. Double quote. Me. Sure thing. Sir. Why don't you go and put them on so we can mark the hem? He comes out of the fitting room and I begin to mark the pants. He won't stop moving around. And keeps looking down. Which will make them hem come up short. I ask him to just look forward. Man. You don't know what you're doing. How long have you done this? I think you should go get a man to do a man's job. I am taken aback. But, being a girl in menswear, this actually happens frequently. I get my male coworker. Pants are marked without any further issue. And they get sent to the back for a rush job. Fast forward 20 minutes. The man comes back. Our tailor has finished the pants. The man tries them on again. Seems satisfied and goes back into the change room. I am very busy. With 3 customers. And I thought that my co-worker would follow up and get a bag for him and so on. Me. Oh. Would you like a bag for those? Man. Oh. I have never heard that word pronounced that way before. Me. Excuse me? Man. You said. Do you want a bag for those? You clearly meant to say. Would you like a bag for your pants? But you pronounced pants as those. I have just never heard it pronounced that way before. The proper way to ask me that question is, would you like a bag for your pants? Sir. Me. Excuse me. By that time, one of my other customers had come over to investigate. And the man wouldn't repeat what he had said. His passive aggressiveness just floored me. I got him a bag. Handed him his pants. And he said I haven't paid yet. If you opened your eyes and paid attention. Maybe you would have noticed that. Customers prepay for alterations 99.9% of the time. Me. Don't worry about the $7. He then went and tracked down my coworker to specifically pay him. And not me. Wow, what an absolute piece of shit human being. Lol, I don't even get mad at the C kids of people. I just realized that this is the king of thing they do to feel good about themselves. Then. I just feel bad for them. Edit. Mayo yes. These kinds. Damn autocorrect. I wasn't 20 minutes out of bed when writing this and barely 2 sips into my coffee. This is a little specific, but a chef I used to work with was really annoyed at the other chef that worked on his section. It was a quiet Sunday night, so he did every bit of prep possible for the section. The other guy comes in Monday morning and spends 12 hours there bored shitless because he had nothing to do and company rules ban phones in the kitchen. This is so subtle and impossible to rightfully revenge. How would you even properly complain about that? The douchebag is doing so much work. I don't have to do anything. It's the worst. Me and my housemates during college were eating dinner. Guy A had left some dirty dishes on the kitchen counter and forgot about them. Guy B cleaned it up and told Guy A that he has to clean up after himself. Guy A asked what he'd done wrong and Guy B said something along the lines of, "If you don't know, I won't tell you." That went on for some time. The rest of us were amazed at how petty Guy B was. It sounded like a marital spat. I had no idea my mother went under the alias of Guy B. No alias. She just goes under Guy B. Had a former co-worker that when writing his child support payment check to his ex-wife, he would address the envelope as names changed. Heather Johnson Williams Smith Butler. Edit. The marriage didn't end well as he caught her cheating. Then she cheated on the next one. And the next one. When I was still married, my ex's parents' Christmas gift to us one year was that they offered to pay for me to have a vasectomy. We hadn't discussed anything, even broaching that subject with them. Guess they really wanted to finish tying the knot. Subtle. Me. I can do this for you, but you're behind on your invoices. You really need to get caught up. Client. How much do we owe you? Me. Including this last job. It's amount. Client. Okay. I am confident we can get that to you by the end of next week. Me. Hello. Just following up to see where we are on that payment. Client. Client. Hey. Our site is down. Can you get it back up for us? Me. I am confident I can get it back up by the end of next week. You let him get away without payment for months? Damn, you're generous. That's how you can hold them hostage like so. When I did sushi samples, I wouldn't tell the customer to have a great day if they were rude. Just a good one. Savage. Oh man. This is literally my only way of seeking revenge on my crappy customers. This'll being extra obviously over the top polite. It was at work. I bake stuff and bring it in for my co-workers pretty frequently. One of our administrators brought in some brownies on a day that I had brought in cookies. She took that personally and actually removed my cookies from the common area and hid them in her office so that only her brownies were available. So I went to her office, reclaimed my Tupperware, and told her I'd keep the cookies in my office till her brownies were gone. On the way out of her office, the systems guys came by like, "Dude, where'd the cookies go? We thought they were out. Can we have some?" Of course. I said yes. And passed out cookies while half standing in our administrator's office while she stared daggers at me. This is the weirdest office rivalry ever. I wouldn't even call it a rivalry. It was definitely weird. Though. A 50-year-old woman hiding Tupperware because she was insecure about her brownies? My high school chemistry teacher hated my friends and me. We started it all by being high school idiots. But we were going to finish it as well. My friend would often crumple up his lab sheet and then flatten it out before handing it in. After doing this a couple of times, she said he would get a 0 the next time he did it. So after we finished our next lab, he asked to go to the bathroom. He takes his sheet to the library, crumples it up, flattens it out and then photocopies it. Comes back and turns in the crumpled looking piece of paper. Truly inspired. This made me laugh out loud. The best one here. For a programming class, me and some friends created a Tic Tac Toe bot that always ended games in a draw. It wasn't designed to win, only to end games in a draw. The real game would be trying to lose. Would you like to play a game, David? Duolingo sent a notification to my phone once saying something like, "It seems like our notification isn't doing anything, so we'll stop sending them." Duolingo pissed me off so much last year with its untimely notifications that I dropped German. I live in a house with thin walls and squeaky floors. My housemate, whose room is across from mine, has always been active at night. That's when he practices his singing, makes phone calls, and stomps around the house, slamming the doors behind him. It was a little annoying but harmless, until I started my surgery clerkship last month. This meant waking at 4 in the morning every Monday through Saturday. A few days before I was to begin, I spoke with my housemate and gave him a heads up, asking very politely if he could keep it down after 9 PM. In return, I would be as quiet as possible in the morning and move my morning routine, shower, lunch prep, to the evening. He agreed, but didn't actually change anything. 3 days into my first week of surgery, after one too many instances of our bathroom's door being slammed too hard late at night, I decided to move my shower to 3:30 AM and parked directly outside of his bedroom window. The car is old and the engine loud. It took just over a week of being woken at 3:30. But he's now quiet by 8. Some people don't notice how loud they are until the other person stops being quiet. Which is weird because I notice how loud I am when everyone else is quiet. It's like taking the pot off of the coffee maker is the same as a bunch of pots crashing to the floor. The post on here that asks people who walk up escalators, what do you do with all your extra time? Passive aggressiveness escalates. The top comment about catching flights on time is pretty accurate though. Anyone that regularly uses Leeds train station can attest to this. I used to do laundry at a funky mat in the UK. For some reason, they put a 15-inch shelf below the doors of the dryers for people to put their baskets on as they emptied the dryer. On a very busy day, one jackass decided to fold his clothes individually in this shelf, instead of moving everything to a table and freeing up the dryer. To make things worse, he was minutely examining every item he pulled out of the dryer. A woman very nicely asked him if he wouldn't mind moving to a table so she could use the dryer. This elicited an astonishing display of profanity and rudeness that had me wondering if this guy had Tourette's or something. The lady realized she was dealing with an a-hole and backed off. Rather disappointingly, I thought. She found another dryer and sat down again. A few minutes later, jackass finishes his folding, and still blocking the dryer with all the folded shit, goes to get a rolling cart to take his stuff to the car. Lady sees her chance and grabs it, opens the dryer door, throws in all his carefully folded stuff and feeds the coin slot. The guy went ballistic when he came back, but somehow, no one in the entire place had seen what happened. I love the image of a bunch of laundry room customers of all ages and races uniting together in silence to complicity duck over this douchebag and not tell him what happened. Here's a great true story of an Irish pub where a guy got murdered in the bar, and all 60+ patrons claimed they had been in the lavatory at the time, leading to the 4x3 feet restroom being dubbed the TARDIS by investigating police. I was working during the morning at the counter and we just opened the shop. Not even around 20 minutes has passed and this elder lady comes up to the counter with her granddaughter and shows me her old battery in her hand with a pissed off look in her face like I peed in her cereal. I stare at her for a couple of seconds, and she sighs, pauses, and then says, "Batteries." I stare at her and with the politest tone I could muster I tell her they're just in front of the counter around 2 steps away. And she starts looking at USB sticks. I say in the most polite and pleasant voice with as much bubbliness as I could muster, "Oh no. Not there." just to the left. And she spots them. I tell her she's got it. And continue my business. She grabs the battery she needs but then pauses and dramatically says, "You know what? I'm not going to buy these. I'll go to another store that will have decent customer service who will help me." And storms out while her grandchild is staring at her like a confused Bambi. I said, "Okay. Goodbye." As soon as she said that and she stormed out with her very confused granddaughter. There are harsher demons to care about in retail beyond a passive-aggressive woman who expected me to mind read and didn't politely ask for help. Besides, it was 20 minutes after we opened. I wasn't awake enough to care. Edit. Sorry my friends. I didn't realize that I missed writing this. But it was her old battery she was just handing to me. Not from the store. And she gave me no conversation. Just stared into my soul. It was very strange. Edit 2. Row. Guys. I didn't realize I had so many upvotes. That's insane. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the love. I was running register at a cafe that sells Starbucks. This girl came up and I asked, "How can I help you?" She just stared. "Would you like anything to drink?" Ugh. Yeah. Getting her order was like pulling teeth and she almost refused to give her name for me to write on the cup. It was insane. I used to work at a fast casual restaurant. The kind where you order at the front and we call out your name and bring you the order. So I'm completing an order for some snooty high school girl and I ask, "Can I get a name for this order?" "No. I need a name to find you when the food comes out. Just remember me." I should note that I wasn't the one taking the orders out and that we had like 50 other orders. Her friend chimes in, "God Karen, why do you have to be difficult?" I say, "Okay. Order for Karen coming up." She sulked off with murder in her eyes. "What's the big freaking deal about giving your name, Karen?" Another time. I asked a fat 12-year-old for a name to go with his order and he yelled "Daddy" in his high alto balls not yet dropped voice. In my firmest voice. No. His ego deflated instantly and his friends laughed really hard at him. Best comment of the day. I had a roommate who was always polite to your face, but would constantly sabotage you behind your back. Anything from using hot water while you shower, running the sprinkler all night long just to waste water, leaving his TV on in his locked bedroom while he's at work, just so you can't have peace and quiet, leaving his bedroom window open on the hottest summer days, just to make the work harder. He flooded the basement one day when he turned the sprinkler on and the hose had frozen solid overnight. All the carpet was ruined. He listened as I started yelling at my nephew, assuming only a kid could be that naive. Finally I realized it was him, and he just shut his bedroom door and retreated into the cave. The next day he bought me a new computer monitor and keyboard. Thanks.